She was called the next Steve Jobs, Black Turtleneck. Deep Voice, a $9 billion company. Built on a machine that could test for cancer, diabetes, and hundreds of diseases from a single drop of blood. The machine never worked, not once. Elizabeth Holmes dropped out of Stanford at 19, founded Theranos. The promise was revolutionary. Hundreds of blood tests from a single finger prick. No needles, no labs, no waiting. By 2014, the company was valued at $9 billion. Holmes was the youngest self-made female billionaire in history, on paper. September 2013, Theranos launches its blood testing service inside Walgreens stores across America. Real patients, real blood samples, real medical decisions. But the machine, called the Edison, could only reliably perform a handful of tests. For everything else, Theranos secretly used modified commercial machines from other companies and lied about it. Investors who toured the lab were shown demonstrations that looked real. They were not. Employees later testified that blood samples were sometimes diluted to fit testing requirements the machine couldn't actually meet. Some patients received wildly inaccurate results. A false positive for cancer, a misdiagnosis of a real condition. The cost of the leak was measured in human health. 2015, Wall Street Journal reporter John Carreyrou begins investigating. Based on tips from former employees, his reporting reveals the truth. The technology doesn't work. The demonstrations were staged. The company's entire valuation was built on fraud. Theranos tries to silence him. It fails. Theranos' value collapsed from $9 billion to zero. The company dissolved in 2018. Elizabeth Holmes was convicted of wire fraud and conspiracy in 2022, sentenced to over 11 years in federal prison. Her partner and former company president, Sunny Balwani, received nearly 13 years. The Black Turtleneck, the Deep Voice, the Steve Jobs comparisons, all of it, built on a machine that never worked. Theranos did not fail because the science was hard. Plenty of hard science eventually succeeds. Theranos failed because the company chose to lie about results, rather than admit the technology wasn't ready. Real patients made real medical decisions based on those lies. That is not disruption. That is not failure. That is fraud. With a stethoscope, Elizabeth Holmes raised $700 million on a story, not a product, a story. And for years, nobody in that room asked to see the machine actually work. Because the story was too good, the Black Turtleneck too convincing, the next Steve Jobs too exciting, to question. This is Corporate Autopsy, a new case, every week. Subscribe, because the next unicorn, built on a lie, is already raising its next round.